So our next stop was Mie Prefecture, and when we got there, we met Mika, and we had a barbecue with her family.
So Nika's dad is a real innovator because he like builds everything himself. Like when he needs something specific, he just makes it, which is really cool. He's actually made like a table and barbecue all in one. So it's like a Japanese style barbecue. So you just have a little grill in the middle, and yeah, you just cook things as you eat them.
Like yakiniku.
Yeah, so that was a really good first night there.
Right, so the next day we took a day trip to Gifu Prefecture, and as we were driving there, I noticed kind of like a statue just out in the middle of nowhere. So I quickly took a picture of it, and Mika let me know that it's supposed to symbolize that that point is the center of Japan. So like the farthest points, north, south, east, and west, all converge like in the middle at that point. So I'm glad that I took a picture of it because not knowing what it was and then finding out that it was kind of like the center of Japan was pretty cool.
Then we headed to Gujo Hachiman, which is this really cool little Japanese town. There's a lot of water there, so the main river that flows through, they actually have they do fishing in there and they swim in there.
So we're in Gunjo Hachiman in Gifu Prefecture.
And we're with our good friend and tour guide, Mika.
Mika. So we are going to make food samples known as shokuhin sample in Japan.
Yeah.
Let's go!
So walking around anywhere in Japan, and most restaurants have big displays of plastic food of what's on their menu.
The food is like super realistic, and like most of the time you can't even tell if it's the real thing or not.
And we got to make little sweet tarts.
Okay. I'll do this.
Ganbatte. We actually saw like a fish shop on the street selling grilled fish, and they had the fake ones and the real ones, and like we couldn't tell the difference. We had to ask which one was the fake and which one was real.
Yeah. We ended up going there and seeing their castle. So we climbed up this big mountain to the very top, and it gives you this great view of the entire town. You climb up to the very top of the castle, and there's actually it's like a four floor castle. And it's all like, I think we're pretty much original interior, like it's all wood and stuff like that, and you just get some pretty spectacular views. And we also got some pictures of some samurai, which is cool.
And it's cool because like the whole town is in like a small valley. Like there's lots of mountain ranges, but there's not a lot of space in between them. So the town is kind of like nestled in the mountains along this river, and it's like a really beautiful spot. We headed over to a place that Adam really wanted to go see, and that's Monet's Pond.
I think it's Monet's Pond.
Monet's Pond?
So, we're at Monet's Pond. This place is pretty popular because there's a video that was going around on Facebook and social media, which a lot of you have probably seen. But we're here, and it's really cool. There's huge koi, and everything's really photogenic. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So the pond is like really beautiful. It's at a shrine, and the water is really clear, but it's like a very turquoisey blue color, and it has like floating like flowers and lots of koi and like different colors of koi. So like bright yellow and like dark blue, and it's a really beautiful spot and a really great place to visit.
If you walk up, there's a shrine, and then there's a path, and they have like hydrangea fields.
Yeah, it's like a hydrangea garden.
But they weren't blooming yet. We were a little bit too early, but it was still really beautiful to look at. I actually took my time while we were there to get some really nice shots, which I'll assemble for you right now.
So after Renee's Pond, we headed back to Suzuka, which is where Mika's from. And the next day we did a day trip to Nagoya. We pretty much just did shopping while there, so we don't have really much footage. But we did find this pretty awesome feature at a convenience store in Nagoya.
And we also headed to the castle there, which had just closed when we got there. We didn't get to go in. But then we also went to karaoke with Mika and some of her friends. So we made some new friends. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So after that, we met Mika's friend Zoe, and we headed to the city of Ise. And Ise is known for having the most, or considered the most sacred shrine in all of Japan. And it's actually, there's two shrines. There's an inner shrine and an outer shrine. And we visited the outer shrine first. So at the outer shrine, like, nobody's allowed inside except for like the royal family and like the prime minister.
So on the outer shrines, there's a few different ones, and each one's for a different reason. Some of them are there to keep everybody safe from like natural disasters. So people go there and pray and make offerings for that. There's another one which is apparently to the god that calms down the other gods to get angry.
Yeah.
So people go there to pray to that god so that he makes sure that the other gods aren't too wrathful.
Yeah. The shrines are kind of located in forested areas, so you kind of walk through like gravel paths, like through the trees, and the forests are considered God's garden. So you can't actually walk through the trees and stuff. Just you have to stay on the path. But they have like orange trees, like wild orange trees that grow. So every once in a while you'll see like oranges in the forest, which is pretty neat.
And like at this time of year too, which is really weird at that. So next we headed to Okage Yokocho.
Alright, so we're here in Ise with Mika and Zoe, and they're going to tell you guys where we are.
Yeah, we are in Okage Yokocho. Okage Yokocho desu.
Yeah, so we're going to go check out another shrine, and then look around the little town here.
Which is like just like a market street, and they got lots of different like stores. There was one really cool store, I forget the name, but it's like all wood carvings and statues, and like the amount of detail and time that it took to make all these things were amazing. And like the person who did it was obviously skilled. Continuing on, there's stuff like a dried fish shop, which is cool. And then just like different food places.
This is what smells so good.
At the end of the street is actually the entrance to the inner shrine, known as Naiku. The outer shrine is Geiku. And the inner shrine is the one that's known as like the most, or considered the most sacred in Japan. So we took a walk through kind of like the forested area and went to the shrine.
Yeah, and that's like forest just seems so magical. Like it's really, like it's untouched by people really. Like it's just the paths that people walk on, and everything else is just nature. Like that's been untouched. And then there's like a river with some fish in there, and like a crab, which is really cool.
Yeah. And there's like one tree that's there, and apparently it's over 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
So like it's pretty impressive. Like it still like looks healthy and is like massive. Like the trunk is like really big. So it was pretty cool to see like a tree that's that old.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's actually a koi pond in the inner shrine, and it's got the biggest koi I've ever seen. Like if you imagine like just the average kind of koi, double the size, and that was the average size of the koi in this pond.
After that, we headed to Iga Castle.
Are we there yet, or?
We are almost there.
6.5 hours later.
Are we there yet, or?
We are almost there.
And Iga Castle is known as the birthplace of ninja. So we're here at Iga Castle, which is the birthplace of ninjas. So to me, that was my favorite castle that we visited. It's a really cool place, and we actually because we got stuck in a traffic jam and like kind of like bad weather, so we ended up getting there too late to go inside, but it was almost a little bit better because nobody else was there, so we had like the entire kind of like castle grounds to ourselves.
The castle has the highest stone wall out of all the other castles. It's like this giant wall from like a pond at the bottom, and it goes all the way up, and then the castle's on top. It's really stunning sight there, and there's spots where you can see like the old like stone structures of like old buildings that were there and stuff like that, that you can walk around on and stuff like that, which is cool. The place just feels like something's watching you, like ninjas. Like it's a very ninja spot.
Yeah.
So on the last day, Mika discovered last minute she had a class, so she actually couldn't take us to this station. So her mom took us for her, but we had some time to kill, so she actually took us to her workplace, which is like it's like a activity center, like community center. And she showed us these paintings done by a local artist there, who we actually got to meet, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And he's got some really cool paintings that he's done. There's this. Our favorite one is probably the rice field one that he did. Yeah, and then after that, we went to City Hall. And in Suzuka, the City Hall is like, what is it, 15 floors?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's something like 15 floors. And the very top is like the cafeteria kind of area. So we went up there, and you just got like a 360-degree view of Suzuka, and it is really beautiful and a really nice view.
And after that, we caught our train back to Osaka. So stay tuned for Osaka Part 2, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See ya.